Hello again, I'm finally back with my review of the Faber Castell Polychromos colored pencils. I'll be using the set of 60. These are high quality, light fast oil based pencils. There's a good assortment of colors, lots of yellows, blues, greens, some browns and grays. If you haven't seen my comparison of the Faber Castell versus the Prismacolor Scholar colored pencils, you can check that out with the above link. The subject for today is Ben Affleck from Batman vs. Superman. I was originally only going to do the armored Batman, but decided that would probably be too easy and look cartoonish by itself. So I decided to add in a picture of Affleck. I used a screen capture from one of the many trailers out there. This meant my reference image wasn't that great, and I had to improvise on some of the details. I haven't seen the movie, so there'll be no spoilers here, and I should probably be seeing it this weekend. Getting started, I'm using the medium flesh and burnt ochre for the light skin tones. The eyes are brown, but from the photo it's really hard to tell, so I fill them in with browns, blacks, and grays. Darker shading on the face is obtained with raw umber, Van Dyke brown, and walnut brown. I use Pompeian red, burnt sienna, and medium flesh for the lips. I lighten areas of the face with white and cream. I've really sped the video up quite a bit, so you may not notice that I'm adding multiple layers of the skin tones and darkening areas several times. Cold Gray 4 is used to darken up where there's some light beard growth. Black dots comprise the facial hair. The reference image is too much of a close-up to really get a good idea of how the hair looks. I rough it in with gray, walnut brown, and black with some pale yellow highlights. I can't complete the hair since one of my camera tripod legs is blocking access to the left side of the face, just above the ear. So I'll go back to the hair and darken things up after I've completed the main aspects of the drawing. The lighting in the photo wasn't that great, so it was hard to determine what color his jacket was. I decided to go with pine green, darken it with black and dark indigo. The shirt was mostly black with some pine green highlights. I will take just a few minutes to mention the colors in the set and the pencils themselves. The range of colors in the set appears to be well thought out. Generally, I find it has all the colors I need, but at the same time, there are no unnecessary colors. There's a very good selection of reds, blues, and greens. This is supplemented with some yellows, orange, browns, and grays. The pigments are rich, and I find they layer nicely to get really dark tones. They also blend quite well together, so you can create colors that aren't present without too much work. It would be nice if they added a lighter flesh tone to the set. The medium flesh is a little bit too dark for my taste, and there are always ways to darken things up. And it would be nice if the white pencil had a greater effect with lightening things. It works fine for slight changes in tone, but if you want to add contrast to a portrait, it doesn't really work for me. Finishing up the shirt, I move on to the armored Batman drawing. I first need to cover up the Bruce Wayne drawing to prevent any smearing. The pencils say they are smear and water resistant. However, I'm using the smooth side of some Moulin de Roi hot press watercolor paper. It's so smooth, it doesn't take much effort to rub off the pigment. I think next time I will try using the other side, which is a little bit rougher and has more tooth. The armored Batman is done using 7 shades of blue, some white, grays, and black. Cobalt blue is the base or lightest blue I use, followed by bluish turquoise, cobalt turquoise, helio blue reddish, Indathrine blue, Prussian blue, and dark indigo. And I may be pronouncing those incorrectly. I couldn't quite figure out how to get the glowing eye color to match. I went with cobalt blue, cadmium yellow, light yellow glaze blended with white. The white that I was using to blend was actually a Prismacolor Premier white. I found the Polychromos white really didn't do much. It works nice for blending colors, but doesn't really lighten things up at all. The other problem I had with the white is it often broke while I tried to sharpen it. I believe I applied too much pressure while burnishing with it, which resulted in damage to the lead. The lead would, however, stay intact until it was sharpened. If you have experience using the Prismacolor pencils, especially the Premier line of pencils, you may find the Polychromos pencils take some time to adjust to. Firstly, they are a very hard pencil and quite durable. I am constantly sharpening my Premier pencils as they wear out quickly. I find you need to keep 2 pencils of the most common colors to be efficient. One pencil you use for detail and you keep sharpened to a fine point. The second you don't have to have sharpened so well and you use it for filling and blending. With the Polychromos, you don't need to do this. The Polychromos take longer to wear down, so I often just time the drawing, so I do my filling and blending first and then sharpen for the details later. Other than the white pencil, I really didn't have any broken leads. As you can see from the drawing, there were many areas where I was using a good amount of force for my final layers or to darken things up. But this did not result in broken leads. Because you don't have to sharpen as often and you don't need to worry about breaking leads, the pencils last longer and that helps justify the price. When it comes to blending, you certainly need to work at it more than the Prismacolor pencils. But you seem to be able to blend a lot more colors with Polychromos. They don't suffer from wax buildup, and I found you could always influence the color a bit by adding another layer. It turns out that the Armored Batman wasn't as simple as I thought it would be. There's a lot of detail in the image and a lot of blending. I spent a significant amount of time on the drawing, but didn't add in all the detail, nor did I get the colors dark enough. In the end, I thought it didn't look too bad though. The Bruce Wayne character, on the other hand, I wasn't overly happy with. The left eye wasn't right, and the nose seemed a bit off in the shading. My final impressions of the Polychromos pencils? They're a good quality, durable pencil. The set of 60 gives you a lot of color options, and you can blend the colors to obtain the tones you want. There doesn't appear to be a lot of wasted colors either. I picked this set up at the local art store while they were on sale, which worked out to be about $2 a pencil. That seems quite comparable to other artist-grade pencils. The only negative thing I can think of is the white doesn't really do much. I would keep a Prismacolor Premier white handy as an alternative. I am interested to see how these would do with other types of paper. This paper was quite smooth and didn't have much tooth, so I'm curious to see how they would behave using Strathmore drawing paper. That's the final product. I still need to add the background in, but I think I will do that using my Inktense blocks. I will maybe show the results of that when I do the review of the Inktense blocks. That's all for now. I should be back in a week or so with another drawing.